Hi everyone, welcome back to the Animal Alphabet Challenge. If you've seen previous videos, then you will know that we did an armadillo for the letter A. We did a baboon drawing for the letter B, and the letter C was a camel. This week is the letter D, so for episode D I thought I'd double up and do a duo of drawings. So the first attempt here, which I've already started as you can see, is going to be a donkey. So I've started putting in some loose outline work with the black sharpie pen as usual. Once again, I'm using the A4 mixed media paper, and I use that paper a lot. If you've seen some of my other videos, it's the paper I used most often, simply because it's so adaptable. You know, it will take pen, pencil, marker pen, acrylic paint, watercolour, ink tints, and it does all of those things with very little buckling, even if the paper gets wet. But back to the drawing of the day, and you can see I'm now putting in some shading on the ears and keeping the shading lines. Notice I'm adding a little bit of a frayed edge to the ears to add a little bit more character and to suggest that the donkey has got hairy ears, which of course it does. Some quick wiggly flourishes of line to indicate the hair on top of the head. And then we need to pop in an eye. So if this is the first time watching an Alphabet Animal Challenge video, these sketches are just very quick, and I'm keeping the material simple, and I'm doing animals which I don't normally draw. So, you know, trying to expand my repertoire a little bit and just have fun exploring different types of animal, really. So although I paint horses fairly regularly, you know, obviously the donkey's a different thing to draw. Different character to the face, slightly different proportions. So just popping in the upper lip there. And one of the things about using the Sharpie marker is, of course, you know, you have to put down quite a bold line. So when you're starting out, you know, you have to be reasonably loose and a little bit delicate with the first lines, because you can't delete any mistakes. So you've just got to try and incorporate those, you know, into the final drawing if you can. So there's that donkey head. Not too bad. I don't know that it's my favourite sketch of all time, but it's okay. So we'll leave that one there. And then next we're on to the second animal. So this is a dingo, so the dogs that roam wild in Australia. And once again, I got both of the reference photos from Pixabay, the website which provides royalty-free images. So be sure to check that out if you haven't done so already. And now that I've warmed up a little bit, I'm trying to be much more fluid and loose with my line work, and just kind of let the pen float and flow around the surface of the paper. Because I'm always trying to get a sense of movement and life into my drawings, especially if we're depicting animals, because, you know, these animals are moving creatures. I mean, they're never ever completely still, because even if fast asleep, you know, animals don't hold on to tension, generally speaking, in the way that human beings do habitually. So if you watch an animal's ribs when it's asleep, if you've got a pet, you know, generally speaking, its ribs will be gently billowing away in a much freer and more relaxed way than we do as humans. So I want to kind of incorporate some of that looseness and freedom of movement that animals typically have in the work that I do. So in this case, I've been able to keep the lines much livelier than I did for the donkey sketch, and also the pose itself is much more dynamic. There's much more of a suggestion of being on the move with the weight shifting between the four paws. So I'm quite happy with how this one's going so far. Quick eye. And now it's time to put in some shading, so I'm just picking out the darkest areas really. And then for the rest of the shading, what I plan on doing is, you know, keeping that sense of movement going. So I want to keep the energy of the marks we're making in keeping with the pose that we've drawn. So I'm careful to not do too much shading in one spot and keep the lines nice and energetic, suggesting the hairiness of the dingo, but also, you know, adding a sense of form with little bits of shadow here and there. A little bit of cast shadow there, not going too heavy on that today, but just to firmly plant the four paws on the ground. And then the other thing which helps that is to put in a little horizon line, as I've just done there. A quick signature, and that's our Dingo sketch complete. So that's episode D complete of the Animal Alphabet Challenge. Hope you enjoyed this little video. As usual, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. If you've got any questions, I'm always happy to answer those. I hope to see you this coming Sunday for the next episode of the Sunday Art Show, and I'll be back with the Animal Alphabet Challenge in the middle of next week. Thanks very much for watching.